What's going on, beautiful people? And welcome back to another comic book review video. I'm your majestic sayer of words, SuperCliff, and if you guys are new to this channel, then do me a solid by smashing that like and subscribe button, and also hit that notification bell so that you'll never miss out on an upload, and that you will always be kept up to date with your favorite top tier comics happening in the comic book world. And today, folks, we are back at it with Shang-Chi versus the Marvel Universe, with Shang-Chi issue number 5, written by the amazing Gene Luen Yang. And yeah, if you haven't been keeping up with this series, then definitely check out the playlist within this video's description. It will help catch everyone up with what's been happening within this magical series. Now in this issue, we see a weapons dealer offering up a stolen Iron Man suit to Shang-Chi's organization. However, will Shang-Chi take it to use it in his own war against crime? Or will Shang-Chi be tempted to become the new Iron Man? Also, what will Tony Stark have to say about it? Thus, without further ado, let's get this show on the road. Alrighty folks, so our story picks up with Shang-Chi as Mr. Red Dot, who is an arms dealer, as well as an old associate of Shang's father, arrives at the new house of the Deadly Hand with a weapon that he thinks will fetch a handsome reward. But as he's about to showcase the weapon to Shang-Chi, things get tense when Shang tells the man that not only does he know who the item belongs to, but that the authorities will be arriving here soon to return it. Thus, with this declaration, it causes the men to attack. And after a small action sequence of Shang just obliterating Mr. Red Dot and his men, Brother Saber, Sister Dagger, and Sister Staff arrive at the scene, only to find Shang standing on top of the bodies of Mr. Red Dot and his men. Shang then asks his siblings to disarm the men and to take them into the interrogation room. Shang's siblings then find themselves to be played by their prisoners when they activate a decommissioned Iron Man suit that begins to attack them. Meanwhile, Shang visits his mother, whose years in the negative zone have taken a toll on her. Shang tells her that a bug is on her face, to which she replies that the bug is not hurting her. Instead, it's making her feel less lonely, which is pretty weird, but I digress. Shang then asks her whether it helps be at home, to which she tells Shang that this place isn't home, that this city, this planet, nor this dimension, none of it is her home, as she reveals to him that her home is in another dimension. Shang then asks whether taking her back there would help her to get healthy, but she says that she cannot return, for she has to stay here to protect Shang. And while Shang and his mother continue to talk, an intruder bursts through the window. Shang tells his mother to run and to get to safety. And it's here where we see the intruder is none other than Iron Man himself. Upon his arrival, Tony Stark makes small talk as he asks Shang-Chi as to what he's been up to besides, taking over his father's criminal organization. This sarcastic humor angers Shang as he tells Iron Man that he should have called instead of trespassing into the house of the Deadly Hand, which causes Shang to attack Iron Man. Back in the interrogation room, Shang's siblings are fighting the decommissioned Iron Man suit. Esme then throws a dagger, which seems to decapitate the suit, but unfortunately it doesn't seem to do the trick. Meanwhile, Shang lures Iron Man to his basement. Iron Man says that human fists are nothing compared to his suit, and that Shang cannot beat him, to which Shang replies that, he can't, unless he's in his element. Shang then attacks Iron Man with throwing stars and adamantium plate staffs, which overwhelm Tony. Iron Man hits Shang with his repulsor cannons, acknowledging that although Shang is good in hand-to-hand combat, this fight is not hand-to-hand combat. Shang then counters the repulsor cannons by deflecting them with a chain and strikes Tony's left glove with a crowbar, breaking it apart from the rest of his suit and putting it on himself. Thus, there is a standoff between Shang-Chi and Iron Man, both aiming the repulsor cannons at one another. As Shang remarks that this feels pretty hand-to-hand to him, Iron Man acknowledges that Shang is clever and that he still can't figure out how Shang was able to steal one of his suits. Shang replies that the suit was not stolen by them. It was brought to them by an arms dealer without their consent, stating the fact that the Five Weapon Society is no longer the same organization that it was under his father's rule. Tony then asks him to prove what he's saying is true, to which Shang replies that he was in the process of doing just that before Iron Man came bursting through his window, and that all he can offer at the moment is his word. Tony trusts his word, and together they walk to the interrogation room, where Shang's siblings have completely dismantled and destroyed the suit while fighting it. They also inform Shang that Mr. Red Dot and his men escaped in the process. Iron Man then apologizes for thinking that Shang's were the wrong hands of which his suit had fallen into, which Chang accepts. Iron Man then flies out of the House of the Deadly Hand with what's left of his suit. Tony then gets a call back from Mr. Red Dot asking him how he thought of their performance and whether or not, he will fix Red Dot's bionic eye. Tony praises them for their acting skills and says that he will get back in touch with them later on. Later on, Iron Man arrives at Avengers Tower to meet up with Captain America, Mr. Fantastic, and Spider-Man. He tells him that Shang-Chi lied to his face and that he didn't steal the suit. Cap remarks that Tony also lied, but Tony replies that his lie was for a good cause. Tony then says that ever since Shang-Chi joined the Five Weapon Society, they've all been wondering whether or not Shang will change the society for the better, or will the society change Shang for the worse. Reed Richards asks Tony for his conclusion, to which Tony replies saying that he has definite proof that Shang-Chi and the Five Weapon Society had stolen the Cosmic Cube and that they've kept it within a different country, as he shows the group a map of Japan. And that, folks, was Shang-Chi issue number 5. And yeah, looks can be deceiving. This phrase embedded itself into my mind as I saw the cover of Gene Luen Yang's Shang-Chi issue number 5. On the cover, there is a beautiful image of Shang-Chi wearing portions of the Iron Man suit. And after last month's issue, I couldn't help but wondering if things had finally hit the fan. Now, often I become easily bored with certain comics. When I read an action comic, I expect a lot of action, and when I read a detective comic, I expect some sort of mystery. Lately, a lot of the comics have not been meeting my standards up front. Yes, you must build your story up to a certain point, but when I'm reading a Batman-centric event, I expect the event to, progress, not repeat itself 5,000 fucking times. Shang-Chi is the complete opposite. From the first couple of pages in this issue, the action was there to greet me like an old friend. Shang-Chi is vicious. As relaxed as he is, this guy is catching bullets with his teeth and then just spitting them out like some badass mofo. This type of stunt is something that makes the Dark Knight feel a twinge of jealousy. Shang-Chi is a solid hero. Whereas the bulk of our favorite heroes enjoy spanking the bad guys, Shang-Chi tries his best to treat them with some level of dignity. Now in this issue, Iron Man makes a special appearance, where Tony's under the impression that Shang-Chi stole one of his suits. Now in his defense, after Shang and his crew broke into the Fantastic Four's HQ in the last issue, certain heroes are now on edge, which makes sense. But the thing that stuck out to me the most was the lie that Tony Stark told Shang-Chi at the end of this issue. Now, disclaimer, I often find that the Avengers to be some of the biggest hypocrites in comics, because just like Shang in the previous issue, Tony justifies his lie to Shang-Chi as being necessary. So yeah, at this point, I am ready for Shang-Chi to become a fully realized character within comics. Legit, he does not need the backdrop of the mainstream Marvel heroes to become an A-list hero. And I think at the end of the day, I think that's what the true hidden message is within this Shang-Chi versus the Marvel Universe arc. Shang-Chi issue number 5 by Gene Luen Yang, it snarled me with the hardcore bullet scene, and it kept me wanting more throughout the issue. Shang-Chi is trying to take a negative, that being his father's organization, and turn it into something positive. Overall, I would recommend this to anyone to read this, for it's surprisingly pretty darn good. Shang-Chi issue number 5 gets an 8 out of 10. And guys, if you like this video, make sure to hit the like button in order to show your support to the channel. And tell me, what are your thoughts and opinions on this issue? Are you guys excited for issue number 6? You got Thor versus Shang-Chi, so that should be pretty electrifying. But yeah, let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. And until the next video, peace.